Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Farmington Hills, Michigan, here with another pre-recorded video. As most of you know, March 2024 is a very busy month for me, so you're going to be seeing more pre-recorded videos than live videos on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/MemoryInkers. That is also where you go to shop for Stampin' Up! MemoryInkers.com. Email me, MemoryInkers@gmail.com. And if you're shopping in March of 2024, please use this hostess code, Z as in zebra, Y as in yo-yo, 4, P as in Paul, 3, N as in Nancy, V as in Victor, 7. Okay, got that out of the way. So today we are going to be doing a couple of different coloring techniques. And we're going to be using some stencils from the Artistic Mix decorative masks, which are in the annual catalogs, and they're only $10, and they're really cool mats. I'm only going to be using 2 of them for both of the projects today. Sorry, just trying to get comfy. And with pre-recorded, I always have to see where does my visual end, so it's about right here. So I'll try to stay in frame for you. So the first one is pretty simple. We are going to start, I've got some balmy blue here for the card base, some basic white. Now the basic white, or whatever mat you choose, is cut at 3 1/4 by 5. So this is 3 1/4 by 5. This is our watercolor paper. It is cut at 3 by 4 3/4. So I'm going to set those 2 pieces aside, and we're going to be working with this one. Now I'm going to be making a mess, so I'm grabbing some grid paper. I know that I can clean this off, and normally that's what I would do because it does clean up so pretty, but I'm making a video and I don't want to wait for it to dry. And the other thing I'm going to be using, I told you guys about this a lot of times, it's Post-it note. You can use washi tape, whatever, but I bought that, so I use it. Although if you have leftover pieces of washi tape, it might be less expensive. Okay, so I have my blending brushes here, and I am going to be using Crushed Curry, Balmy Blue, and Highland Heather. And what I'm going to do is I am going to create a background. So I'm going to start by setting this piece on my grid paper just so that I have some place to work. And I'm going to then lay this fun little mat, and I'm just trying to kind of get it to where it's kind of even on all of the edges, which you might have a hard time seeing that on video. I know that. So you might be able to do it if you're holding it up in the air to see it a little bit better, but you can't, it's hard for you to see that on a video. So hopefully I've done it correctly. So now I'm just holding that in place for now. And I am going to, this is pretty simple. This will not like shock and awe anybody. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Highland Heather because this is the darkest of my colors. And I am going to get all of these fun designs colored in. And I want it to be really dark. There is another way. This is a fun trick. You can ink it, but it does make a mess on your mat. I am going to show you that in a minute for the next project, because we're going to be using this same these same masks. Okay, so these are the ones that like I said, I want them to be really dark, and it's not going to be even, so you can decide how much color you want to add to your design. You might want it like super dark, which is what we're going to do with our second project. I want it to be super dark. Whoops, I'm kind of making a mess here. But, okay, so that's what we've got for this one. It's not super dark, but I like it anyway. And then I'm going to take this mat. Now, a lot of times I'll do this mat first, but for this technique, I have found I like doing this better. So now I can line this up so all of those little designs are inside the negative space here. And then I can go ahead and tape this down again. Just make sure you're not covering your actual project with that. So now I'm going to start with the crushed curry because it's the lightest color. And I'm going to blend right over this. Not everywhere, just in places. Just getting some of it in there. All right. Then I'm going to use the balmy blue to go wherever I did not put the yellow, basically. It's okay if you kind of mix the colors. That will tend to give you a little bit of green, which is not a bad thing, right? Let's get a lot of color in there. And then you can see here. Now I have a very subtle design. I'm going to close this before I do the next thing. Now I'm going to take a water bottle. I'm going to do it off camera, and I'm going to spritz this lightly. Okay, so it's a very light spritz. I'm going to, sorry for that big arm there. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and dab it off. And then what that has done now is really softened it up. And you can see it's almost made some of the color disappear, right? I mean, some of these are very hard to see. Some have become very bold. And it's just a fun, look. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to hit this with my heat tool, but it's, you know, it's not fun to listen to that on a video. So I'm going to put you on pause for just a minute and I will be right back. Okay, so because this was barely wet at all, it only took me a minute to dry this piece. You can also, if you want to make it wet more, you can lay it aside to dry or use the heat tool. Just remember, when you use the heat tool, it's going to want to curl. And then you just keep flipping where you're heating back and forth, and it will. I mean, it has a slight curl, but not anything that my adhesive is not going to hold down. So, all right, so now we've got that step done. Now, because I'm going to be using these again, I am going to wipe them off. I will do that during a pause, so you don't have to watch me do that. All right, so move these things out of my way here. And we'll start putting the card together. So I'm going to mat this piece onto the basic white. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. Move that for now. You guys know I love liquid glue. I mean, there are times absolutely to use our seal, but liquid glue is my favorite. Oh, I put the adhesive on the wrong part. Can you believe that? I don't normally do that, but I did this time. And then look what I did. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is craziness. Okay, give me just a minute. I got kerflunked because somebody's calling while I'm taping. So hold on just a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I will tell you that, yes, the front of my card is a little bit, this design has a little bit of stickiness to it. And I don't want it to stay on there. So what I'm going to do, after I make sure this is pressed down well, is I'm going to grab my older embossing buddy and just sort of wipe it on it. Tap to get some of the powder out. And then now it isn't sticky anymore. So that's a quick tip for you too, is if you have an embossing buddy or you have more than one, which I do, it's a cool idea to keep like your oldest one for things like this, because then you don't have to worry if any of the stickiness holds to the little pouch bag. All right, so now I'm going to take some ribbon out of the Baker's Twine Trio Pack. This is in the January to April mini catalog that's available right now. It's $8 and you get all three. And I'm going to grab the one that is the Balmy Blue. And then grab my seal. Remember I said I do like to use it on occasion when you need something stronger. And I almost always, pretty much always really, use it when I'm using some kind of a ribbon or a twine, because I like to be able to be sure it stays in place. And now all I'm going to do is I am going to wrap it. And I want to be sure that my first wrap is even. So I can line it up here on my glass mat. And I can see that I'm about right there. I'm going to move that over. I'm at about the 1 inch. So now I can take this one and go the 1 inch. And then once you have one, it's very easy to just line it up with the other ones, like so. And then just play to get them the distance that you think you want, and that looks good to me. Okay, so now this is going to go on the front of my card. Before I put it on, I am going to stamp a sentiment to the bottom of this card. You definitely want to put a piece of basic white on the inside. You can decorate it or not. That's totally up to you. I am going to be using a sentiment from the Sweetly Scripted stamp set. You guys know how much I love sentiment sets. I can't help myself. I just do. And this style of sentiment is like my favorite. It's very scripty. I love the long tails. I think they're awesome. I'm going to be using the happy birthday, but this has happy anniversary. Congratulations. Happy birthday. A million thanks. Speedy recovery and save the date. Awesome. Everything you could possibly need, right? So hang on. I just wanted to check my timing. It is pretty close to longer. It's a bit like oops. It's going to be a little bit like right to the edge. So I like to put something under it. Or like I said, when I'm doing this not on camera, I just wipe down my glass mat. So like that. And I'm going to be using this sentiment for the other card, so I'm not going to bother cleaning it. And I'm going to put that right at the bottom. So there, I've got a very pretty happy birthday, right? Now I'm going to add this to the front, and I'm going to go ahead. See, somehow that all of a sudden looks crooked to me. Doesn't it? It does. It looks a little crooked. So I'm going to try to adjust these a little bit before I glue it down. That looks better. That's one cool thing about Baker's Twine. Baker's Twine is very easy to manipulate even after it's been glued. It will roll or slide into another position until you've got it sandwiched between the two cardstocks like I'm about to do now. And then just going to center it above the sentiment. So, ooh, I got a little too much glue right there. Look at that. Okay. So now we've got that, but I want to add a little bit of bling, right? So I'm going to be using the adhesive backed solid gems. They actually have two of the colors that I've been working with. I'm going to be using the Balmy Blue, and I am just going to do a super simple design on here. There are 3 different sizes. That one stuck to my finger. So it's kind of fun when you can use 3 different sizes. I love when that happens with bling. But they're super simple card. Hoping you guys are seeing that. The lighting looks funny to me. Here's another one that I did in some different colors. So you can see two different styles. So now I'm going to clean this up and get ready to show you another idea. Similar, not quite the same. Okay, so here is my next project. That looks weird, doesn't it? So like I said, it's going to be similar. The sizes are the same as the other card. This time I'm using a thick basic white for my base. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that ready, get it out of the way. And I'm going to set that aside over here. Okay. Again, I'm using watercolor paper. This time my mat's going to be on basic with basic black. And I am going to use watercolor pencils. As you can see, I've used a few of these a lot. So this is what I'm doing with this one. I am going to just make a bunch of scribbles onto the watercolor paper. Like so. Use any colors you want. This is Balmy Blue. I think this is Cherry Cobbler. And I think this is Daffodil Delight. So, there we go. Just a bunch of scribbles, right? I'm going to take it and I'm going to spritz it like I did the other one. But I just wanted to start the wet. I'm going to be using my water painters. They come in a pack of 3. And I am going to just blur these up. I'm not going to blur them up perfectly. I am going to go ahead and let them have some markings in there so you can see, and look how that blends into a fun green when you pull them together. So that's fun. And you see me wiping off the edges so I don't get too much. Like I didn't want that blue-green into the Melon Mambo color, Cherry Cobbler, I think that is. But now, see, now I have a little bit of orange, some reddish color. I think I want a little more green, so I'm going to grab some of this blue. And you know what? I'm going to put the yellow in here, so I get a little bit more green in this area. There we go. Looks like a hot mess, but I think you're going to like what I do with this one. So I'm going to use the same sentiment when I do the card, but hang on. This time I am only using this card, this template. And let me show you what I was talking about, how if you hold it up, you can kind of see where your edges are. So if you want to kind of like even Steven the design, where did that come from? Does anybody know? Why do we say even Steven? I don't know. And those little weird things always make me curious. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to grab those same 2 pieces of Post-it note. They generally last a pretty good long time, actually. Now, this is messy. I'm just going to warn you that straight out. It is messy. And the way I discovered this was I thought, oh, I'm just going to go to direct to paper and stamp through the design, which kind of sort of would work with some, but it didn't work so great with this Memento pad. Can you see that? It's not doing much at all to that inside design. But I've got it wiped all over. Now I'm going to take a mini blending brush, and when I rub it, it's transferring that black off of the template onto my design. Now, if you want more, go ahead, grab some, blend it out, and you're creating what looks like a giant mud pile, right? It just does. It's quite messy. But I want this black to really take over. Okay. Now when I pull that away, look, isn't that fun? I love this. I love it. I hope you guys do too. Please give me a thumbs up, hearts, whatever. Let me know what you think of this fun idea for a different look. Like I said, same card, same idea. We're kind of wetting everything down. I'm just using two different things because, you know, you may not all have some of the things that I've used. And so, like, you may not have blending brushes at all, but if you have a sponge, you can do either technique or this one for sure if you have a sponge. So bear that in mind. Although, of course, you can get all of the things I mentioned on my website, MemoryINKers.com, through Stampin' Up, through me, through Stampin' Up. Don't forget, there is going to be some changes coming up later in the year. So you want to make sure you have a Stampin' Up account, just like you have an Amazon account or a Walmart account. You're going to want to make sure you have a Stampin' Up account. Now, this time I'm using some black baker's twine, which comes in one of the multi-packs. I don't remember which one. I'm being honest. I don't know. Because there's just, you know, Stampin' Up has so many amazing things that it's really hard for me to remember where everything is and what everything's called. I'm lucky when I get the colors right. So now I'm going to take this black and I'm doing the same thing. Whoops. Maybe if I can get this piece to stick. I don't have enough. So hold on. It's better. Make sure I have enough there. So this is the end of my black, so it's going to go around as often as it can. That's too low. Uh-oh, not even twice? Hang on, let me see if I can give it a little bit more. Okay, so like I said, I only have a little bit, so this is what I'm going to do, because if I go all the way around, I may not have enough. So now I'm just going to turn this like that. So this doesn't go around 3 times. That's okay. I don't mind. I'm okay with that. And I'll move this one down a little bit and just get them to stick in the back. There we go. I don't want that much left over. I could, you know, tie a knot or something and put that on the front, but I'm not going to do that. Again, I'm going to stamp the happy birthday on the front of my card. This one might be good for a masculine birthday. Even though the colors are pretty, the design is mostly black. So, go. There we go. Ooh, got it really close to the edge there, didn't I? That's okay. Guys don't care. I'm saying that because it was my mistake. It's my cover-up. It's my cover-up for my boo-boo, you guys. I know you know I make them, and I know you make them too, because you guys always tell me that you've done similar to what I've done. So now I can put this on there. And I still want to add a little bit of fun. So I'm going to be using the classic matte dots, which carried over from the spring catalog. So they do have 2 different sizes, but I only have a few left in the black, and they're all the smaller ones. So I'm going to set these actually down here, I think. Because they won't show up quite as well on there. So I'm just putting 3 right there, as even as I can get them, but it's me. So there is our 3rd card. So let me show you all of them again. Here we go. So this is the first one, in case you guys want to do screenshots. I know some of you do. Okay, so this one is with the watercolor pencils and the mats, and then these are with the ink pads and the blending brushes and the baker's twine. So that is today's pre-recorded video. I hope you liked it. I hope you'll share this video with your friends and tell them to come follow me on facebook.com/MemoryInkers. Shopping again for Stampin' Up! Products, MemoryInkers.com. Be sure you set up your Stampin' Up! Account. No matter who you shop with, you're going to need an account eventually, and it's going to be followed by your email name. So make sure you only make one account, one email, because of what's going to be going on. You're going to want to make sure you do that. Again, if you're shopping in March of 2023, I think I said May at the beginning of this, I'm not sure. It's Z as in zebra, Y as in yo-yo, 4, P as in Paul, 3, N as in Nancy, V as in Victor, 7. That's my hostess code that helps me to make more projects and give things away. So have a blessed and wonderful day, you guys. Bye.